Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Jolly Oli.
I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Joey Only's a terrible weather dude. He fights fires in Wells, British Columbia. He's a firefighter. He does the weather reports. And he runs a podcast called Convenient Plus Meteorology. Terrible weather dude, Joey Only. And Joey Only's a really nice guy. It's on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George radio station and CKUW and 95.9 FM radio station Winnipeg, Manitoba. Joey Only's a really nice guy. I'm on his podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Best of luck to you. I'm Frank Donald. You're listening to Joey Only's show, Comedian Plus Meteorology, Caribou Weather Group. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Jolly Oli.
Hi.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg. This is the Comedeorological Report. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. It's the last show of the year. Last episode was episode 90. This is episode 91 of Joey Only and Frankie MacDonald. We have been 2 years together pretty much now doing this show, and you are hearing it on C for 88.7 FM and CKUW 95.9 FM in Winnipeg and Prince George. Thank you very much. And maybe you're watching us on the YouTube. We live stream on my Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube. You can go there, subscribe, and enjoy the show every Thursday at 7 p.m. So it is Thursday, the 29th of December that we are recording, and it will be New Year's Eve day in Prince George when the show airs, and it will be a brand new year, Winnipeg. Happy New Year, Winnipeg. So yes, this is the time traveling that we do every week with the radio waves and the internet waves, and yes, so thank you, everybody. And we have small cast because everyone's at Christmas, but we have the most important people in the whole world, including Imogen Cookie Bailey, Joey Only, myself. I'm your host, and your other host is Frankie, the weatherman, Frankie MacDonald.
Frankie, the weatherman.
How you doing so far this week, buddy?
Hey guys, sir, someone's birthday today. Gino Bisconte of the host of In Hot Water Show. Gino Bisconte is the host of the Hot Water Show on Monday afternoons and Thursday afternoons. Then I'm going to say happy birthday to him. I'll say, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gino Bisconte, the host in Hot Water Show on Compound Media. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Gino Piscante, and Planet Earth, because it's a brand new year, Winnipeg. So happy birthday, Planet Earth. What's going on Planet Earth, Frankie?
It's going to bring a lot of rain in Los Angeles, California on New Year's Eve. And did you hear about this? It's going to bring lots of rain all across the eastern United States and America, New Year's Eve as well. Both New York City and Los Angeles, California, they're getting a lot of rain on New Year's Eve.
Well, that's great news.
I didn't really hear that, but we just
getting a lot of rain. New Year's Eve. What a great way to celebrate New Year's with an umbrella.
In Los Angeles and New York City, they're going down for the fireworks there.
Yes. Well, I didn't really hear that, but we saw it on the Windy app that we were looking at before the show. And yeah, Frankie, what else? Talk to us about the blizzard last week. What happened?
It was really, really bad in Buffalo, New York. The military had to do wellness checks to people in Buffalo, New York that had no power.
Well, they should have been doing that years ago. But finally, wellness checks for Buffalo.
It's like the armed forces, the military, the National Guard, and Marines are doing the wellness checks on people in Buffalo.
It's a terrible place to. I don't know how bad of a place it is to live. I just know everyone in the 90s, every time in the 80s, every time I drive through Buffalo, I'd be like, "Oh my God, let's just get through this so we can see America."
You're just in a hurry to leave.
So poor Buffalo, they keep getting amazing storms, and that's why is that climate change, Frankie?
Pete's supposed to be joining.
Good, Pete Galenko from Colorado coming. Frankie, why is that climate change?
Because of global climate change happening around the world.
Okay, I think yeah, definitely warm water in the lakes there makes for exceptional snowfalls. And the warmer the summer is, the warmer the water is there. So yeah, we gotta definitely, that's happening. Okay, Frankie, so what else is going on the planet Earth right now? Give us all the global weather news.
And did you hear about this? Australia is getting warmer weather all the time now. They're bringing lots of thunderstorms in some parts of Australia. And up around Europe, they're bringing lots of rain and snow up in Norway and lots of wind in the UK from the big windstorm that happened in the eastern United States around Christmas. Bring the windstorms in the United Kingdom and places like this. And the third one, and did you hear about this?
No.
And guess what? I heard that Pete Galanko's updating it on the Zoom app.
He's right there right now. Hi, Pete Galanko on his update. You're driving around Colorado right now.
Yeah, and I'm right next to a big old snowbank in a parking lot, and I was just wondering, why do they call them snowbanks?
What would you call it? Old is what I'm wondering. I mean, how old could that snowbank actually be?
Oh, this is fresh snow from yesterday.
Yeah, so it's not a big old snowbank. It's just a big snowbank. We're going to come back to you in a few minutes, Pete. Frankie, what's going on in Europe?
Over in Europe, it's warm air, cold air fighting each other. Moscow, Russia, it's getting snow. So a little bit of flurry. And Bakhmut, Russia is really, really, really cold as of right now. And China's, parts of China's getting cold weather. And did you hear about this? They're bringing a lot of rain in Uganda, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, Madagascar. So it's their rainy season. So it's Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, they're in the rainy season now. Venezuela's a lot of thunderstorms and rain and things like this. So it's Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, those places. It's really dry in northern Chile. In southern Chile, it's summertime there right now. Bringing thunderstorms in Argentina and all these places possible. Hail and things like this.
Right. Who's got the worst weather in the whole wide world?
The worst weather in the whole wide world. It's Los Angeles. Cyclones just hit northern Australia. That was did a lot of damage to northern Australia. And Los Angeles getting a lot of rain that's going to trigger mudslides, landslides, and things like this, including Orange County, California, Hollywood, Burbank, Anaheim, Long Beach, and all these places. And Victorville, California, Corona, California.
You made a video this week, didn't you, about that, Frankie?
Sound like an interrogator made a video this week about that, didn't you?
I'm trying to get Frankie to talk because everyone wants to hear Frankie talk.
And did you hear about this? In Southeast Asia, they're bringing a lot of rain to Indonesia. The atmospheric river's coming all the way to Los Angeles, all the way from Indonesia.
I didn't hear about that either. I mean, I saw the map.
Indonesia's getting so much thunderstorms and rain lately.
I mean, we saw it in the map, but no one's talking about it except for you, Frankie.
And I heard it from another weatherman. All those moisture come all the way from Indonesia all the way to California.
Yep. That's the atmospheric river. Sometimes those rivers are aptly named because the one atmospheric river that demolished British Columbia there had, they said, 25 times the volume of water that was in the Nile River at any given time.
The worst weather of the year in Nova Scotia is Hurricane Fiona hit Sydney, Nova Scotia on Saturday, September 24th, 2022. I had no power for the whole week.
Would you say that was the worst weather of the year you had?
Hurricane Fiona, all kinds of telephone poles got knocked over and things like this. There was an epic storm.
What are the other big storms of the year, Frankie?
Ice storm, first weekend of February 2022 in Sydney, Nova Scotia. The freezing rain knocked off power from Friday evening until mid-Saturday afternoon.
Any other big weather stories this year you can think of, Frankie?
Hurricane Ian striking Florida in late September 2022. Did a lot of damage to Fort Myers, Florida, knocking off power, things like this. And 100% of Puerto Rico got no power for Hurricane Fiona.
You guys got questions for Frankie?
How was your week, Frankie? You did anything fun for the holidays?
And that means I did things for fun in the holidays. And did you hear about this? I got something to say. Roger the Wild Child is taking a month off in January, and Roger the Wild Child Show Nashville edition will return in February 2023.
What did you get for Christmas, Frankie MacDonald?
No sneakers.
Right on. Are they good sneakers?
Yeah.
Are they good for sneaking?
Good sneakers. That means it's at home right now.
Yeah, I guess you don't really want to be wearing sneakers right now, do you?
What's wrong with sneakers? Come on. I wear them everywhere.
No one else going to join shortly, that's what she said.
I'm circling back to the whole Sharknado thing.
He might have had sharks on Mars once upon a time.
Although not specifically in tornado format, but I am curious, Frankie Mac, how long would it take to fully freeze a medium-sized shark at minus 10 Celsius? Long time.
That means the sharks can freeze. Sharknado can freeze because the water goes below zero.
That is a good point. Oh,
I mean,
Paul is not going to be joining us. Oh,
sharks are made of water, you know. and they swim in water.
What about Brandon? How busy is he?
Sharks
What
are
is
cold-blooded,
grandma's house?
right? Or are they warm-blooded?
Sharks are good question. Ooh,
I
this
think
sounds
they're
like a Frankie
warm-blooded. They do
question.
have hearts.
Trey Campbell's doing the stand-up comedy.
Well, I guess cold-blooded animals also have hearts. Never mind.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
That was wrong. I was about the anatomy.
Start
Well,
with the
actually,
hearts, man.
I mean, now
I
that
think
you
they
mention
are
it,
cold-blooded. Wait, no, they're not. They have to be warm-blooded because they're. I mean, they do like congregate in like off of Florida and stuff like that.
okay, so I mean, just for devil's advocate, I had a human being staying here for 3 weeks who apparently has no heart. There are mammals with that are heartless. They spend all day on TikTok. When you
Ew.
say, "Can you get this one?" and you're like, can you help with something in the house?" And they say,
No,
I can't
I'm on
do dishes.
TikTok.
I can't do dishes because textures make gross me out." I'm like,
What?
"You're staying at my house for free, and I'm feeding you, and you can't help."
Because
Oh, there's
they're gross. What is in your sink,
the-
Joey? What textures are in your sink that are outside the standard of what you would expect? Why?
Well, our water
like
was
there's-
frozen for 5 days during the cold snap. I mean, come on. The house, it needed a team effort to get through it together. Frankie, how many people do you got subscribing to you on YouTube this week?
That means I got new
Subject
some new
change.
subscribers because I just did a video about a total solar eclipse heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024. All you guys are coming to Sydney, Nova Scotia. Hey everybody, it's me, Frankie MacDonald. I want every single person in the whole wide world to come down to Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024 because this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Total solar eclipse headed right for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024. All you guys all over the world will be heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Friday, April 5th, 2024. This is going to be a total solar eclipse event, once in a lifetime event, and it's headed for right for my area on Monday, April 8th, 2024. I want every single person in the whole wide world to come to Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024, just to see the total solar eclipse. Every single person in the whole wide world have to go to Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024 to see the total solar eclipse. This is going to be a once in a lifetime event. I'm Frankie Down. Say hi, Joey Oli.
Hi, Joey. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm Frankie Down. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Time, and 11 p.m. Atlantic Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Joey Only Show Care About Weather Dude on his YouTube channel. Joey Only Care About Weather Dude every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Joey Only is a firefighter and fights fires in Wells, British Columbia. Joey Only is a really nice guy. He's a really, really, really nice guy. And Joey Only fights fires. And I'm on the radio. And Joey Only Show, and including me in it, it's on 80 CFUR 88.7 FM radio station in Prince George, British Columbia, and CAUW 95.9 FM radio station in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Joey Only is a really nice guy. I'm Frankie Down. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report on every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey. See ya, Joey.
If I have to get a large UPS package and mail myself to Frankie's house.
Holiday Inn in Sydney.
Yeah, but they might not open the package for a day or two. So at least you can, extricate me from my box.
Then teacher, you'll be going to Holiday Inn.
Yes. Well, that might be a lot for me to afford, but maybe I'll stay behind the dumpster, sort of behind the Holiday Inn, and then catch up with everybody else once in a while. That's more my
What
style.
you doing? Nothing, chilling at the Holiday Inn. Who you with? Saw a few of my friends. Y'all remember
Okay,
that
Pete.
song?
Well, you're talking. Let's try to focus you on talking something coherent. So talk to us about the cold snap you just had, and then talk to us about you got a lot of snow there. And
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, have mercy on this. I don't know how y'all do it in Canada. It got to -5 on like the 21st, 22nd. I was driving Lyft earlier in the day. It was 40 degrees. And then by the evening, it got to -5, -6 before the wind chill. It got down to like -20 with the wind chill. Oh, that was intense. And I feel terrible for the people that were outside and not aware and not prepared. There was, I think there was a stadium open for emergency shelters for what's called. So that was pretty intense. And then I got back. I went to Mexico for 3 days, which was lovely. Puerto Vallarta, and the Bay of Bandidos, or however you pronounce it, the Bay of Flags is what it means. And Puerto Vallarta is a lovely port beach city in Mexico. So right after that cold snap where it got down to -20 with the wind chill, I had some beach days in Mexico, which was awesome. And then I got back here and it started snowing again. Not
except now you were weakened by having been in the warm weather, and it was probably especially painful. And that's why I say don't go to warm places. It just makes
opposite. The warm weather strengthened me. The cold weather weakens me. Ironically, that's just me though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. We don't have to get into that. Tonight, you got no customers. You're just sitting there, and must be tough. When
I signed off a Lyft. The demand for Lyft is high today. I'm on the university campus right now, but I was all around yesterday. And please, for the love of God, anybody out there that gets a Lyft, like there was 2 passengers that asked me to like give a heads up if you know that your street is definitely stuck prone, because like this car runs pretty well in this snow as long as I keep momentum. Though when I come to a complete stop, and
why would they tell you that? Because why would they tell you that? Then they're gonna have to get out and walk the entire block to get home. Whereas they can just
my passengers are friendly.
They can just get you stuck.
I had a group of young people that helped push my car. Then I had another guy that he went and he helped shovel with snow, and then I got a big old bag of like salt, ice salt that I put on their tires. It was an effort to get it out of there, but he ended up having to walk over to his house and then back over to help me anyway. So it was like, I don't know. It's like in conditions like that, like I'll ask the passengers next time, like, do you think your road is going to be like, do you mind walking a block instead of
how clear is your road?
Yeah. Okay. So
I ain't trying to stay outside too long and get cold in this, like, I can't be getting sick. And I read somewhere that cold is not attributed to the common cold being changing the warm weather, the cold weather, and that is junk science in my opinion. I've experienced many times where exposure to the cold can't get the sick, so I'm trying to stay warm.
Cold it's not about the temperature. It's about little tiny things that get into your blood and into your lungs and into your sinuses and screw you over. So Pete Glanko, he's got lots of snow. He went to Mexico. He's in Colorado. My name is Joe. This is the Comedeorological Report on C4 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9 FM. Hilding Donaldson just showed up from Grassy Plains, British Columbia. Any word on the weather before we go to Hilding? Imogen, we haven't asked you.
Yeah, the weather here sucks.
I thought I'd wait till you have a big apple in your mouth.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and then it's also, Imogen, sorry to correct you, but that apple once had a family tree.
It did. Let the frigid genocide of deliciousness continue. So,
did all your snow melt?
It did. The snow has been gone for basically since like a day after. It's been gone for a few days now. It's only been, it's been gone for a few days now. We're good. Everything's clear. Once again, it's wet. The hippies are damp, so now there's weird pockets of smell throughout the city. But that's just what happens. But no, it's clear. Mostly rainy, little damp, little drizzly. Very whiny populace. Not the old people there. You get that, but I mean, it's a weak population here.
Yeah, so the weather in Victoria this week is whiny.
It's very whiny. I'm loving it. I'm loving the misery, the widespread misery, the low key wussiness. It's not pouring rain. It's a little rainy. And there's so much complaining. It's wonderful.
It's like people are going to complain all the time.
And then when you'll be fighting fires again.
Oh, it's going to be a long time before I'm fighting fires again, Frank. It's definitely not next week. That's for sure. So I think we'll have a show again next week. Yeah, probably not till July. Maybe June. You never know. Hilding Donaldson, he's had lots of fires out by his place. He's out near Francois Lake, Grass Plains, British Columbia. Evening, Hilding Donaldson. How's your weather reports been going?
Oh, it's going okay here. We kind of were in a limbo like last night and this morning. It was like it was clouded over, but it wasn't snowing, and it was just kind of holding. And then this morning it broke and it started to snow again. So we had about 3 centimeters of snow today, just enough to make things really messy. The roads are sloppy. They haven't plowed them off. And I was out a little bit, tried to fix the 4x on my snowplow truck, and it was work to get from here to the shop because the road is that bad. But other than that, I mean, the weather is fairly mild. It was only like -5 today.
What's that approximate distance?
From here to the shop?
Yeah.
About 15 kilometers.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
There you go. It's not like you're like, it was hard to get to the shop. I'm like imagining like, you're looking at your shop and you're like, because most,
No, I rent a shop from the neighbor, so I have to drive over there.
and the neighbor's 15 kilometers. God, I love the North. So you've been making your daily weather reports?
Yes.
I've been making these weather reports, everybody, and I've been talking about this, that there's an extreme avalanche warning, a special avalanche warning that's in effect for most of the interior BC mountain ranges, basically. And so I'm screaming from the top of the hills, don't be going in the mountains right now. Stay off the steep terrain. And so there's been incidents. No one's been killed yet, but another one today right here in the mountains outside Wells. One person not injured was caught up in the avalanche, but not buried. But eventually here, we're going to start getting large scale avalanches. And I just wanted to also note here, so Noelle McKee can't make it on the show tonight because her computer's out of commission until she gets the power cord fixed. And I had to because she's such a punk rock metalhead, how she spelled power cord.
It's one of the many reasons we love Noelle.
That's kind of punny. She spelt it as in power cord, for the radio listeners, the word chord is like something you make with your guitar for loud sounds, power chords. That's a middle. Right, Frankie? What's your favorite song, Frankie?
Speeches by the President of the United States of America.
Still, eh? Still.
Hey.
Well, that's your right.
That was a great way to put that. Way to frame it, Joey.
Peaches come from a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
Okay, so
my little place.
Yes,
Voice
Pete.
of an angel,
Frankie,
Pete.
what
Voice
does
of an
they
angel.
say?
Okay, Pete. Let's not waste precious airtime.
And down in Antarctica,
That
24-hour daylight. Down below Antarctic Circle, the next sunset takes place around January 23rd, 2023. Say hi, Joey only.
Hello.
Say hi, Joey only.
Sorry?
Say hi, Joey only.
Hi, Joy.
I'm
Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological weather report on every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on it, and the CFUR 88.7 FM Prince George radio station and CKUW 95.9 FM radio station Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm on Joey Only Show every Thursday nights on the Caribou Weather Tool, Comedian Plus Meteorology YouTube channel podcast every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He fights fires. He's a Caribou Weather Tool, Comedian Plus Meteorology weather guy. Joey Only's a really, really, really nice guy. I do weather reports with him every Thursday nights, and he does his podcast. Joey Only's a host of podcast every Thursday nights. And I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to Joey Only Show, Comedian Plus Meteorology. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joy only.
That's right. Okay, so I got the next topic here coming up. and I'm going to put on the share. This is according to Environment Canada, the top weather stories of 2022. And look at that, Frankie. Number 1, Furious Fiona strikes Eastern Canada. So you got that one.
I got that video. I just did a video before Fiona strikes Canada. I did a video of myself. I got a lot of views on TikTok, and I got a lot of views on YouTube as well.
Yeah, well, you got number 1. You're the number 1 weather story this year, Frankie. Hurricane Furious Fiona strikes Eastern Canada. Number 2 is the $1 billion Derecho that raked across Ontario and Quebec. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
Just before May long weekend, 2 days of intense heat and humidity propelled a hugely powerful line of storms across central Ontario and Quebec, bringing torrential rains, large hail, frequent lightning. However, it was a swath of downburst winds that resulted in the most damages. They call this kind of system a Derecho, a group of thunderstorms that move in a straight line, much like a front line advancing soldiers in a battlefield. For the first time in Environment Canada's history, it issued a broadcast immediate severe thunderstorm alert through National Public Alerting System. Man, this is just get to the point. What happened, Environment Canada? Around noon on May 21st, the skies were foreboding. Of course they were. The storm cluster moved quickly, traversing 1,000 kilometers from Sarnia to Quebec City with a damage over 100 kilometers wide. It took just 3 paragraphs to find that out. Who's writing this crap? Embedded at the leading edge of the system was a tornado that touched down in Uxbridge with the maximum wind speed of 195 kilometers an hour. 2 other tornadoes were documented south of London. One intense downburst in South Ottawa at velocities 190 kilometers an hour. This was quite the storm.
Hurricane Fiona is next. You have to click the Hurricane Fiona number 1.
Well, I figured because you could just tell us the story, Frankie. Tell us the story of Hurricane Fiona, rather than us have to read what it says. What happened for you, Frankie? What was Hurricane Fiona?
I lost power for a whole week. That means I had to charge my phones at the Civic Center and Daniels Bar because my house had no power for a week. When I went out, I had to carry plugs to charge my smartphones and devices when I went outside because it was so bad. Trees were down and everything, telephone poles, and I was watching it crews to fix and the power guys to fix the power and things like this.
Well, to be fair, I'd like to highlight that there's a real good chance that Fiona being such a major story was partly due to Frankie's coverage of it. Because Frankie was producing a lot of videos and he gets a lot of traffic. And Frankie has a great way of bringing things into social consciousness. So his coverage alone would have given, the story itself a boost. It was a major event, but it also had the Frankie bump. So just going to get that out there.
I got another news for you. Did you hear about this? Extreme meteorologist and storm chaser Aaron J. Jack has met me in person ultimate fire on Friday, September 23rd, 2022, just before Fiona struck Nova Scotia.
When your power was out, Frankie, what happened? Did your chicken fingers thaw out and things like that?
That means I ordered Chinese food. It was cooked.
What about your food that was in the freezers?
It's hot out and things like this. People are filling in fuels for the generators, things like this.
Right. So it began on September 14th.
It was Leah.
As a tropical depression, as a category hurricane, it brought powerful winds to Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, and before becoming a category 3. East of Bahamas, reached category 4. 12 days later and 4,000 kilometers away, it dissipated in the Labrador Sea over much cooler waters. On September 22nd, a separate mid-latitude storm stretching from Hudson Bay to Labrador brought wet weather. At the same time, Fiona grew larger with its strong winds and heavy rain spreading all the way from the storm center to an expansive 800-kilometer diameter. Over the next 2 days, the storm quickly merged into an extremely powerful post-tropical system with characteristics of a strong hurricane and a strong fall cyclone. So it reached a minimum pressure of 932 millibars near the eye, and the reading smashed Canada's previous all-time sea level pressure at 940, set in 1977. So, went through Cape Breton on the 24th and over the Gulf of St. Lawrence and Newfoundland during the day. It finally reached Quebec's lower shore on September 25th. And 150 millimeters of rain occurred in some places in the Maritimes, 30 millimeters per hour, flash floods, significant storm surges, especially in PEI. And 180-kilometer winds were felt along the north shore of Nova Scotia. This was a very strong storm, man. It was and did anyone die, Frankie?
That means people died over Port aux Basques, Newfoundland because of that.
No one died in Nova Scotia, though, did they? Manitoba's drenching spring got number 3. And that's we got Manitoba listeners here from CKW. So this, you got third highest snowfall since 1872. It recorded 331 millimeters of precipitation, making it the wettest on record. It was 36 times the 30-year normal.
Well,
Record
dang.
rains. At the peak flooding, 45 municipalities and 9 First Nation communities were affected. More than 1,000 residents of Peguis First Nation had to be evacuated.
That's a wild photo. How deep do you think water is there? I mean, looking at the bench, it can't be that deep in that shot, but still, that's a brilliant
Somebody
photo.
saying hi to me.
Who is it, Frankie?
A fan of mine driving up the street.
Oh yeah, they're not there
What about
anymore.
Hurricane Ian that hit Florida? What happened down Florida in late September for Hurricane Ian?
Well, I think that was a really powerful storm, but it didn't make Canada's top 10 because Florida, despite the fact a lot of Canadians go there, it's not actually Canada. Return to hot and dry weather under the dome. That was another big story. So really hot in parts of the West at times. Wildfires on 2 coasts. A wintry spring in British Columbia, but no floods really. Superstorms tracked across the prairies in July. That was a big one. Yeah, at least 4 powerful thunderstorms. Yeah, between Calgary and Edmonton. Severe hail. Yeah, ice balls clogging. Tornadoes near Medicine Hat. Popular country music in Craven, 50 millimeters of rain produced a sea of mud, requiring a lengthy cleanup. I mean, we love that stuff at a punk party. You'd be like just swimming in that stuff. Barbecues flew off decks. Oh my goodness. I hope people got their burgers off in time. And siding was ripped away. Ditches were filled to the brim. And 3/4 of the basements and 2 of them were flooded after 168 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. The town of Lebu was hardest hit. 140 millimeters of rain. That's a lot of rain, man. And hailstones as large as eggs and baseball size in Saskatchewan. Powerful winds at the Big Valley Jamboree in Camrose were strong enough to rip tents and awnings. A tornado touched down in Coronation on July 31st. Later, another weak tornado was near Kindersley in Swift Current. So half the tornadoes in the prairie this year occurred in July, with 11 in Saskatchewan, 6 in Alberta, 1 in Manitoba. Saskatchewan had one of the busiest tornado seasons on record, with 25 tornadoes in total, including 7 twisters on July 29th alone. Following 4 major storms, farmers were picking up pieces of their crops and homes, while others were feeling lucky, having been spared. 100,000 bushels of crops destroyed. Storm killed numerous livestock, property insurance, not counting crop losses, was $250 million. Alberta suffering, and there's a wall cloud trying to create a tornado right there in Saskatchewan. Credit to Darren Dick.
I'd just like to take a moment to appreciate the use of bushel as a current measurement. We don't get enough of that.
Yeah, that's biblical stuff, man, and that's what you talk about when you have biblical plagues and locusts and tornadoes. And Montreal swamped by humongous rainstorm. There it is, Montreal.
That's where Base Guy lives. That's where Jack Casey, aka Base Guy Show, lives.
Number 9 was the record-breaking cold. The only place in the world colder at that time was in Yakutsk, Russia, at -48. And this is late in December 2021. So this wasn't even this year. Yeah. And then 3 weekend storms in Atlantic Canada. Do you remember this in January 15th, Frankie? Cape Breton got hit by storms, and so did Newfoundland in places. Do you remember this?
Yes.
What was it like?
First, the snow changed over the rain, changed back to snow.
Then what happened?
And then 2 days after, a day after the Super Bowl in Sydney, Nova Scotia, I had a snowstorm on February 14th, 2022. And guess what? Sydney, Nova Scotia had a lot of freezing rain. And first weekend in February 2022, that COVID restrictions were still around in Nova Scotia at that time. Early January, February, March, COVID-19 restrictions are still around. Limited capacity is still around. COVID restrictions in Nova Scotia is still under a public health emergency in January, February, and March 2022.
Hilding Donaldson, what was, in your experience, the worst weather that you recall, the worst thing in 2022 in Grassy Plains? If people don't know where Grassy Plains and Francois Lake is, it's near Burns Lake, sort of south of.
Great south of Burns Lake.
Like cyclones hit New Zealand and places like this, and so lots of tornadoes, and down in the central states in the spring and things like this. And did you hear about this? They had a lot of tornadoes and severe weather down in central states in June. Wisconsin had a big rainstorm and thunder and lightning.
No, I didn't. So what would you say for you, Hilding, was the worst weather you saw last year?
Well, I would say what affected us the most in this area was the cold, wet spring. It was like we weren't seeding in the field until the end of June, which is just unheard of. And the grass it grew great, but we were wanting sunshine. It was just something we just never had here, was that cold of a spring.
I do recall that. It sucked, actually.
I mean, it made up for it in July. It evaporated all that water. We thought our fields were soaking wet. We started making hay, and our tractors were digging up soggy, wet slosh onto the windshield the first couple days. And in a week's time, it was almost too dry. And we actually had a fire season this fall, which we were surprised about.
Yeah, I got a bit of work. I fought some fires for sure, and it got pretty dry. I mean, when I was up in Mackenzie in September, it was insanely dry. I mean, you look at Mackenzie, it's not rainforest there, but it's closer to it than, say, the dead interior of BC is, right? Like it's on that rain side of the Rocky Mountains there, right? They get a lot of precipitation, man. And it was dry as a bone. Like you could dig down, you weren't finding moisture down there. We had those really big fires at the Battleship Mountain fire. And then we had that incredible rainstorm come through late in September, and it washed the roads to the fire out. So they were going to send us to that fire. And they're like, well, actually, everybody at that fire is still sitting at camp because they can't actually go anywhere. And so we ended up, that was the end of my fire season. Let her burn, I guess, until there's no road. But yeah, the rain, it was like 80 millimeters of rain hit it, in one night alone.
Yeah. Have y'all ever heard the song "I Get It Out the Mud"?
No.
I don't know that
You're
one.
going to sing it for us, though. I know you are. So just get it over with.
It's the main lyrics. I get it out the mud. I get it out the mud.
I was kidding.
I forget a lot of the lyrics of that. But anyway, Kevin Gates, if y'all have listened to that song while experiencing those muddy conditions, it might actually it would be good work music, in my opinion, in those type of conditions.
No more singing, Pete. So this year, Pete, you've been to Virginia, you've been to Pennsylvania, you've been to Mexico, you've been to Colorado. Where else have you been this year? You've been to a lot of places.
Virginia, Pennsylvania, Colorado, and then well, that was last year. That was the count. I was in LA last year, right before New Year's. Honestly, it's not a lot of places compared to some years. I've been to dozens and dozens of cities here in
here's the question then. That was the framing. Here's the question.
Areas in Colorado.
The question is,
also a bunch of states between Colorado and here when driving here from Virginia.
Oh yeah, there you go. So what was the worst weather you saw this year? That's the question.
The worst weather was
you've been everywhere, so you may have some good stories.
The worst weather was on the 21st or 22nd when it with that -20 wind chill. Oh my goodness, that was a doozy that day, and the weather changed so quickly too, and then that was and then I did. Oh wait, hold on. When I first moved out here, there was that random hailstorm in the summer out of nowhere. That was pretty wild, and there was a lot of flooding under bridges. And like the city was at a shutdown for a minute there. I was driving a rapper from New Orleans. Said, well, he's not a rapper as a profession, but has some songs, and we had a little adventure. Anyway, that was that hailstorm. That was crazy. I had to take cover in a garage for a concert complex.
How big were the stones?
Some of them, I would say golf ball size, though there were some big ones. not quite golf ball size, but it was still no joke though.
Big hail.
And it went on for a while with also a lot of rain really fast. And it was like, oh, no.
I don't seem to have many memories last year of really bad thunderstorms, and that's kind of a departure compared to most years where we get some real powerful ones, right? I don't have many real mind-blowing thunderstorm moments from last year. And that's, there was lots of lightning, but just nothing.
A tree almost fell on me last night.
Oh, yeah.
A tree, yeah. Like you see how there's like these
they get
Charlie Brown looking trees. Yeah, they got snow loaded. So last night it dumped snow. It got like over a few feet in some places, and over like a pretty short period of time. And the trees were. There was one tree on one of my routes where the branches were going all the way over across the road, and like 50 feet in front of me, the weight of the snow broke the branches, and it wasn't like just small branches either. It was like, and at first, from my point of view, it looked like it was just snow falling off of the tree, though it was the entire like big old. It was like.
Damn.
Not half the tree, but it was like significant though. It just fell right in front of my car.
I had a branch like that break off and land next to me, and it was like it crashed, and it had like a lot of snow on it. And when it hit the ground, and I was standing there talking to my buddy Dave McKillican, and for some reason I just decided to go over and lean on his truck instead of standing where I was standing. And then all of a sudden, like no sooner had I leaned on the truck right where I was standing, that it was like. Woof. I was just like, we were both like, holy, like, but yeah, when the snow gets wet,
honestly, like
because here like we get so much snow in the trees, and we get that same kind of effect. But often the snow is powdery, so we don't have. They're snow loaded. The weight isn't there.
But I think the real important question that I'm kind of stuck on here is how does that affect the Keebler community? When the trees are breaking open, the elves inside, they're now exposed to the elements. Do we have a Red Cross situation set up to help the elves? Or are we just stealing the cookies? Is this what happens? The trees break open, the elves are homeless, and now we just loot their cookies? Yeah, you don't know what to say, do you? You've got a handful of cookies behind your back already.
Okay, here's some questions for Frankie. Susan Payne wants to know, Frankie, will you be coming to British Columbia in the near future?
Not only that, but all over the world, including third world countries.
I hope someday the Frankie World Tour. I like when you list off where you're going. That's my favorite. So the next question was from Christine. What's your favorite city to visit?
Unknown.
Susan Payne reminds us that sharks are ectothermic and most are cold-blooded.
I got something to say. Total solar eclipse is taking place in Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024. Here comes Sydney, Nova Scotia on Friday, April 5th, 2024.
I'm going to get there. If I have to.
Oh, yeah.
If I have to steal a helicopter.
I'm going to be there for sure.
Imogen, we haven't asked you what was the worst weather you saw in 2022.
Question. Probably during the summer when we had a day that was roasting hot enough, it fried my monitor. It got so hot on my balcony that when I had my laptop outside, it roasted my monitor, and I'm using my laptop now, but I've got a curved screen monitor plugged into it because I can't use the monitor. I never got it fixed. I just sort of left it. I had another screen that I wanted to use instead. But that would be the worst weather of the year, was frying my computer outside, frying the monitor.
Yeah, so you call it the worst weather, not the worst.
That was awful.
The worst short-sighted moment of your year.
You know what? I'm not a fan of the heat. I prefer this miserable cold winter. If everyone else is whining and complaining because it's 10 degrees outside, it's not that cold, and I'm pretty happy about it. So I thrive on the misery of others. So
you can always put clothes on, but it's hard to cool yourself down once it gets hot.
I know, and I don't wear a lot of clothing to begin with. So during the summer, I did half my streams and shows and whatnot in a bikini because it was just hot and miserable and awkward, and clothing was a form of restrictive hell. So
Yeah, nuts. We hate summer too.
no, you don't. You lie.
That part was pretty good, actually.
Where's Gabriel
miss that
Barato
part.
tonight?
Wasn't trying to
Oh
show
yeah,
off. I
Gabriel
was just
Bardo doesn't
uncomfortable.
feel like coming on the show. The last show of the year, he doesn't feel like it. I get it though. He's probably been worked a lot or something, or I don't know. He's emotional or something. I don't know. Gabriel doesn't feel like coming on the show. Doesn't matter what I feel like. I gotta come on.
No one cares.
It's my show, I guess. So like, you can't pity me, right?
He's probably doing his TikTok videos. This
He's
is a Gabriel thing. He does TikTok videos. He does a ton of them. He does them a lot, and so he's probably doing TikTok.
I actually hate TikTok. I've decided I'm just going to be out with it for now on and just admit I hate TikTok. I think it's garbage.
I think that about Twitter. TikTok,
I
don't
always
like
did
much
too.
better.
Twitter needs improvement. I'm still waiting. Elon, I want to sit down with Elon and be like, hey, y'all still got some problems here. He promised this, that, and the
Not
other.
me. I want to slap him around like a little friggin'
you know what?
child.
Twitter, my reach on Twitter quadrupled once certain changes started happening internally. So, like, I don't use
My reach
Twitter a
has
lot.
continually declined over the years, and I used to have I peaked at 1 million page views a day in 2017 before that account was taken. I don't know. Other people
So
think
we all agree that Twitter is actually garbage, and then we all agree that TikTok's garbage. So then I'm just starting to wonder: is Telegram
media is
garbage?
garbage.
Are all
Come on,
sites
we
that
know
start with the
this.
letter T bad?
Social media is garbage. We know this. We all use it. We all complain about it, but it's garbage. We know this.
It's like clowns and trolls on social media. There's too many clowns and trolls.
Too many clowns and trolls, Frankie, and teenagers.
There's a lot of trolls and haters out there and clowns trying to, they make each other, like, especially those teenagers and things like this.
I would like to see more
It's
organic.
invested.
I feel like the algorithms are not necessarily rewarding organic content creators as much as it used to. I try to be optimistic about it though, and I hope that there's improvements. As much of a critic as I may be, and as much as social media platforms in general are probably largely sort of data mining and social engineering to a degree, though.
Well, each platform
Whatever.
I miss MySpace. It was better than Twitter, But yeah, I
MySpace
never really
was
liked
fun.
Twitter. And I guess for me, it's the whole thing was like, well, you got 45 words to say something. And I'm like, no. And I feel that way about TikTok. You got 45 seconds to say something. No.
Well,
don't make me, and everyone's just scrolling through now.
You miss
and
MySpace, don't ya?
I do miss MySpace because I was Jake the Snake Roberts' friend on MySpace. I was on Jake the Snake Roberts' top friends list. Jake friggin' Snake Roberts, man. He liked the Joey Only Outlaw band. And now
MySpace,
I don't know where to find Jake the Snake Roberts no more.
Dude, MySpace was I loved it. It was so good. Like the people that I was connected to on that platform and what I was doing with like professionally on the creative side, it was just insane. The people I was talking to are not people I would ever say hi to me in the real world, but we would have meaningful conversations. It was pretty awesome.
MySpace
was I started some of my first entrepreneurial activities on MySpace when I was 12 years old. I reached out to a bunch of bands and artists and made them sample websites when a lot of people didn't have their own websites. And I ended up working with a rapper from Georgia, I believe, Young Wine. And then he changed his name because Google results would just show Wine results rather than his rap name. I think he had some major names on some of his mixtapes, but it was kind of cool. Neither of us made any money off the website. That was fun.
The thing with
MySpace was the good days of like.
I heard that.
Then they started changing
music.
What do you got, Frankie?
Hurricane Fiona and Hurricane Ian are going to be retired this April coming up.
Yeah, there'll never be another Fiona again. So it's like,
Are there
you know what's
any
going to
new,
happen is like next time that Fiona's due to come up and there's like a tropical low starts coming up and like, well, what's next? It's Fiona's turn. And you know what'll happen is the storm will dissipate because the
Fiona's
man
going to be
retired.
retired this April coming, so's Ian.
Yeah, so
so are
any
there any
storm
new
named Fiona
names
from
coming
now
up in
on,
hurricanes?
any storm that
Another F name, female F name storm, definitely replacing Fiona. Another I name storm, definitely going to replace Ian for the future hurricane season.
I see. That's how it works. Right. So, no, they just won't name a storm. Wouldn't that be cool though if they retired that name and they're like, well, what's next? Well, Fiona's up, and the storm. Sorry, can't be a storm, and then just dissipates harmlessly out to sea, and then just start retiring all the names. Who's dinging me? People talking at me. You're listening to the Comedeorological Report on CFR 88.7 FM, CKW 95.9 FM. I'm Joey Only here in Wells, British Columbia. It's a town up in the mountains where not very much happens, well, at least until I bring the wrong people to town, and then all kinds of drama happens. But that's over now.
That means I'm going to say happy birthday to someone and say, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gino Bisconte, the host of the Hot Water Show on Compound Media on Monday afternoons and Thursday afternoons. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
And happy birthday, planet Earth, to another year. Earth is turning 23 years old.
And that means happy birthday,
sure
Gino
is.
Bisconte.
Happy birthday, Gino.
Gino Bisconte, the host of the Hot Water Show on Compound Media. Happy birthday, Gino Bisconte. And have a great birthday for Frank Down.
Happy birthday, Gino, and happy birthday, planet Earth. Earth is now 2023 years old. You know, it's a big number for good old Earth.
It's older than that because BC, that's before Son of God was born.
Yes. We know that the Earth is 6,000 years old, right, Frankie?
We know a lot of things.
They had a Jurassic period, Cretaceous period before the humans, Earth still exists. The dinosaurs were around.
The Earth has spent 4.5 billion years evolving to get to this incredible point where human beings just sit there and scroll on TikTok all day as if nothing in the whole world matters or is interesting whatsoever outside of their little screen. 4.5 billion years of evolution has brought us to this.
Well, Joey, I'm not sure if this show is ever going to take off on YouTube with that attitude about social media.
Hey, I like YouTube.
Even if you're not wrong, YouTube, all right.
I'm on YouTube. I just think TikTok
dice.
is dumb. I think that you spend 15 seconds scrolling, the next. And I had this person here who spent 12 to 14 hours a day scrolling on TikTok just endlessly. And I try to get her in, I give her like books or like, hey, have you seen this album before? And be like, just disinterested, like empty. Frankie, how do people find you on the friggin' internet, man?
My social media is, my Twitter is @FrankieMcD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My TikTok is FrankDown984. My Clapper is FrankDown984. My Twitch is FrankDown984. My TikTok is FrankDown984. My Clapper is FrankDown984. My Twitch is FrankDown984. My Snapchat is FrankieAmyCDON. And my Twitch is FrankDown984. My LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to me, Ross Report with Joey Only. And
That's
happy birthday, Gino Bisconte. Happy birthday, Gino Bisconte of Compound Media, the host of the Hot Water Show. And happy great birthday, Gino Bisconte from Frank Down.
And happy birthday, planet Earth. This is the Comedeorological Report. I am Joey Only, your host, and you've been hearing us on C88.7 FM, CKW 95.9 FM. Shout out to the station coordinators for playing us every week, and I know they enjoy the show. And shout out to all you meteorology students in Winnipeg and all you forestry students in Prince George. This show is for you. I mean, who else is going to like a show about weather and stuff like that? And Imogen.in, you can find her online. Hilding Donaldson's been putting his his weather reports now on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. That's the Facebook group I run. So if you live in British Columbia, join Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. You can see Hilding's weather reports right there. And next we'll have Pete back next week. In fact, hey, Frankie, we're not going to have a show until next year.
That means next week it'll be next year.
That's right.
Yeah, see y'all next year.
But you always love that as a kid when you say goodnight to your parents. Like, I'll see you next year.
2022
Yeah, we'll
will
see
be
you folks
2020
next year.
and 23.
2022. I mean, it mostly sucked. I mean, I'm happy. I've lived a pretty good life.
They suck. How is it
But
bad?
I mean, nothing awesome happened.
Well,
You
that
know, it's
doesn't
just like-
suck.
It's like a year of treading water in my life, basically.
Okay, lack of forward momentum might be a unit of measurement of suckage.
Yes.
It's still not that bad. I mean, look at the year
That's-
before that. That was a
In fact, that's
write-off.
the only measurement of suckage that matters.
We
I
did have
really
some pretty
appreciated-
awesome, like giant killer bees or something. That was cool. That was 2021. That was an apocalypse
Hey.
bingo. Yeah.
I haven't got to see Avatar yet.
Philippines.
So, I
Avatar.
mean, maybe I'll see it in the next 2 days, and that'll save 2022 for me. So you've been hearing the Comedeorological, and I'm doing, and this will be back next year, and this has been our show. I hope you enjoyed it. And okay, that's all for now. Bye, everybody. See you
there's
next
a skeleton
time.
behind me.
See you next
Yeah,
year.
okay.
Skeleton.
Bye now.
Say hi, Joy Only.
Hi, Joey.
I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night. Joy Only's a really nice guy. He's on 88.7 FM, Prince George radio station, and CFUR 88.7 FM, Prince George, and CKUW 95.9 FM radio station in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Joey Only fights fires. The Caribou Weather Dude. He's a Caribou Weather Dude. He fights fires. He's a comedian plus meteorological weather guy. I'm on Joey Only show every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Joey Only's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy. He does weather reports and things like this. I'm on his podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time on his YouTube channel. And the CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George, British Columbia, and CKUW 95.9 FM radio station, Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm Frank MacDonald. You're listening to Joey Only show. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.